Hey everyone, end all be all here, and welcome to the second match. Today has been sort of a crazy day, so I barely had time to record my videos. So this video is going to be a voiceover, which is basically going to be a summary of my battles that I pre-recorded. Here's a brief overview of my defense. Nothing too different. My opponent has Galactic Legend Rey, which they always keep on defense. So I decided to go slightly lighter on defense, keep all my major teams on offense, but I did keep my own Galactic Legend Rey with a couple of other tough teams down here. At the back was mostly garbage. Nothing really great. I was sure that they probably wouldn't get through. The question was whether I would be able to get through their array or not. And I kept my own negotiator on defense as well, given that my opponent just had a 5-star malevolence. Over here you can see my opponent's Galactic Legend Rey with a couple of other teams. That's going to be problematic. And then just like me, my opponent likes to keep Darth Revan, Malak, and Basti as well, which is a really strong team. And then they've got a Shaak Ti and a Jedi Knight Revan team in there. So relatively tough on defense. So let's get started with the matches. I decided to go with clearing out the sisters first, and I took in my Django, which is really great against sisters. Anything with revives, whether it's zombie or thousand or Daka. These are the three main ways of reviving for Night Sisters. Whenever I see one or two of these, I always take in Django. With the Zeta, he's really excellent, and easy 54 banners out there. Um, Next battle, I think I decided to clear off whatever I could down south. Oh no, I think I decided to go for the Darth Revan team, because that's going to be the only team that I had to take that out was Padme, and still save enough to take out the to at least attempt the Rey. So I went with Padme. This is a tough team to take out. I strongly believe, and I've mentioned this before. This combination of Darth Revan, Basti, and Malak is the toughest one outside of the Galactic Legends in terms of defense. But Padme does a decent job, especially if all three of them are faster than Padme. Then Padme team builds up more than enough courage to one shot these guys. So here you can see, I've got about 18 stacks of courage. So that guy is gone, but unfortunately, these two are not able to clear up Malak. Malak is this is a highly relic Malak and pretty fast as well, with decent tenacity. So I don't think it was possible for me to take it out just with these two. So I believe I end up losing Anakin out here, and uh, and without Anakin, there's no healing immunity, and it's impossible for Padme alone to take it out. So so this battle was a loss, but I had already budgeted my cleanup squad. So what I do is, whenever I see a Darth Revan on defense, especially with Malak, I save both my bounty hunter squad as well as my crew squad for cleanup. If I manage to take out Darth Revan, then I take in crew to clean up the Malak. If Darth Revan is still on the board, then I use bounty hunters with Boss Glee to take out, just because of all the debuffs that those guys get. Uh, Bounty hunters are much easier to clean up, especially with Django and Boba. So here I'm just speeding things up for this lone Malak cleanup. It takes a while, but you've got double turn stun from crew. You've got healing immunity on Kylo basic, and you've got Fox, who's going to be dealing the damage. So you've got everything that you need in a package to take out Malak, which is what I'm doing right now. And whenever I can, I'm using the basic on crew, so that the taunt remains on crew and he doesn't end up live training someone else. All right, so now I think I take in my JTR squad against the crew. That's a pretty straightforward counter, nothing much to say out here. Um, yeah, I just hide everyone so that in case these guys go after someone with retribution or counter chance, the ones who are stealthed don't get countered back. Now I'm here just trying to take out first order executioner. That's usually the way that I like to do things, and then um, and then I work down on the two Kylos. Um, so one thing which makes this team tougher is if Hux was in there instead of masked Kylo, because that prevents turn meter gain. So then there are more limited number of teams that can take this particular team out. But luckily, most people like to keep Hux separately in a 3v3 combination, which is why you just usually see um, uh, Kylo Ren with crew and then another damage dealer in there. That's usually who you see. Sometimes you do get to see Sith Trooper in there as well, which can make things slightly tricky. Sith Trooper as the damage dealer instead of Fox, but all you need to do is get around the taunt and then target the damage dealer, either Fox or Sith Trooper first, and then just work down on these guys. So pretty straightforward. Right, so this battle is done. I tried a little bit to recover full banners, but I couldn't make out that with Galactic Legends on defense, banners are really not that important. Against the Shaak Ti team, I didn't want to waste a meta team because I wanted to save whatever I could for offense to take out the Rey. So I decided to go in with Wampa, with the Watt and Stormtrooper Han. These three make a really great combo. Watt with the Stormtrooper Han, great for defense, and these guys hit pretty hard because there are tons of S's. Stormtrooper Han manages to survive for a little bit, so we managed he managed to survive for a little bit until Wampa ramps up. Days from Wampa really helps prevent these guys because they keep getting retribution. So days from Wampa really helps to control them a bit. And once I get Shaak Ti down, then it's just a matter of clearing these guys out. They really won't be able to. They're not that dangerous because they can't get healed or get retribution. And Wampa with weapon tech really does a decent job. I think I lose my Stormtrooper Han over here, but he's done his job, essentially shielding Wampa till he ramps up and providing a little bit of protection to these guys. So you can see over here, uh, end with full health and full protection on Wampa, a little bit of protection missing on Watt, but able to get through it in one shot without wasting a meta team, which is the most important thing. Next, I'm trying to think. I think I go after the bounty hunter team over here, and since I'm planning to use Jedi Knight Revan with gas, I have Yoda and Basti available, so I use them to take this team down. Pretty straightforward. This is a hard counter to it, and these guys have plenty of protection, bonus protection, which means that they've got tons of tenacity, which means the debuffs really shouldn't land unless it's tenacity down by Dengar. Yeah, I think that goes through a tenacity check. But otherwise, I think this is a pretty straightforward match. There's tons of damage over here. Plus, this is only a G12 boss, so nothing much to worry about. I'm able to get through this pretty fast with maintaining all of my bonus protection, and at the same time, I'm able to yeah, I'm able to get through it pretty easily. So no issues over here. Now comes the tougher teams. So now I decide to attack the Ray, and I decide to use the burner method. Given that I have my own Ray on defense, so I took in a few burner teams to try to get Ray to use lifeblood to get her below 50%, and then take in the main team. So I think I took in three sets of burner teams to finally get her into yellow. And then I decided to take in my Geos under Poggle lead with with Spy in there to try to snipe one of these side characters to make my next team easier. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. They targeted my other characters. I think the wrong cooldowns were off, so they managed to dispel that guy and targeted the wrong characters and took them out before my spy was able to get the big hit. But I was hoping that that would work. Um, but I that left me with all both these characters, both the Resistance heroes in when I decided to go in with my main team, and unfortunately, Savior got triggered before I had a chance to go. Um, so that was unfortunate. If I had only one of those Resistance heroes in there, this is a much more surer counter. So you can see over here, the second unfortunate thing was damage immunity got triggered on Rey, which means I don't know what to do. I should have maybe targeted Finn to take out, but I decided to just go ahead and fracture Rey and see if I can't at least reduce her max health by some amount before I'm able to take her out, because I knew that she will come out, do her whirlwind, and one of my characters is going to go. But I wanted to at least try to reduce her max health, which ended up not working. So so this also was a little bit of a failure. So you can see over here, I got rid of her protection, fractured her a second time, and I'm working down on her. But as you can see over here, um, the presence of both these resistance heroes makes it really, really tough. And I managed to get a little bit of health done. I managed to get into yellow, but because Savior was already triggered, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the job completed. So I was very, very close to finishing her off, and she got her in the red, but unfortunately, my gas didn't survive long enough to get the job done. So that was a little unfortunate. Maybe I should mod my gas for more survivability instead of damage. That way, we would be hanging around long enough to reduce the max health. So then I figured, since just a little bit of red health was left, I may be able to get it down by my CLS squad, which was a mistake. I think her health is so much, her max health, that apart from gas, it's really very difficult to get her down. You can see over here, second time again, I got her to red, but she just heals too much. So this was a waste of a good team as well. I got my CLS wasted over here, and nothing much happened. Maybe if I'd taken my CLS in before the gas JKR team, I might have been able to use CLS to get one of the resistance heroes down, and then my gas team would have had more success. I think that might have been the better way to go about it. So now I have a JKR team to take down up north, and my CLS team would have one shot this team pretty easily. It would have been no problem at all. But I ended up wasting it down south. So I tried to see if I can't use my Treya against it, but unfortunately my Treya is no longer modded for defense, and no longer modded to survive a, a JKR team. So this team was, especially a Relic Yoda, does a lot of damage. So this team was taken out pretty fast. Second mark came around, and I think they marked Nihilus. So um, not very successful. So ended up losing over here, and that I think I had to back out of this because yeah, this was not going to go anywhere at all. So backed out of this battle, and I was running really low on teams because I'd used up a lot of meta teams down south. If I hadn't attempted the Ray at all, I would have cleared the top zone no problem at all, and probably got 30, 40, maybe 50 banners more. But I was trying to save a lot of teams to at least attempt to take down the Ray. So given that that was unsuccessful, I don't think I was going to get through that zone. So now I'm throwing the rest of my roster against JKR, trying to get it down. So I still have my Shaak Ti team with Rex and Fives. Um, Presence of Fives is good because he gives Rex a little more survivability so that he can reach the aerial advantage annihilate ability, which in this case I would have to use twice because Revan's Savior would be triggered the first time. So Rex has to survive long enough to use this second time, which is what I'm trying to do over here. Shaak Ti survived as much as she could, and she is gaining tons of turn meter um, because you do have damage being done to the clones, and every time that happens, she gains, I think, 20% turn meter per clone. So she is going pretty often and able to heal quite a lot. The one tricky thing about using this counter against JKR, especially the one with where Yoda is in there, is there's tons of tenacity, there's tons of foresight on the board, which makes it difficult for Rex's Annihilate to go off because his Annihilate ability, the aerial advantage, can't be ignored. it can be evaded. In this case, that's the first one that I managed to get off, where um, Savior was triggered, and now they are going to be targeting down Rex and getting rid of him, which is fine because that just triggers Five's Savior ability, and Five sacrifice happens, and Rex becomes extra tanky, which is good. But now we just have to make sure that Rex survives long enough to get another Annihilate ability off. And again, here we just have to be careful of that there's no Foresight on the board because that will really screw up our plans. So the presence of Hermit Yoda, Grandmaster Yoda, um, with always giving Foresight up makes Rex a little more tricky in this situation. So here you see his Hermit Grandmaster Yoda gives Foresight up just when Rex's Annihilate ability was available. So I had to wait for another turn before I could use it on anyone. So now I'm just trying to get Foresight off from these guys, and there you see Grandmaster Yoda had Foresight off, so I decided to get rid of him right away. And at this point, I decided to stall the battle out because I was sure Jolie might end up reviving him. So I didn't want to take that chance. I could always go in a second battle now that the main damage dealer is gone. I could always go in the second battle and clean it up. So I decided to time this out. I could have probably annihilated Jolie, but he had Foresight on him at the time, and I didn't know whether my Rex would be able to survive for one more turn to be able to get the job done. So that's the reason I decided to time out for that. And then, given that I'd already had two attempts, I decided to play around with it and see what else I can use to take this out. And I decided to go with my Mando with the under Aura lead. This is a great team for cleanup as well. Um, just because Boss can do most of the tanking, and then these guys reach their contract so fast that it's amazing for a cleanup, even against a relatively strong team like this. I did have plenty of offense because especially since I wasn't able to clear the bottom zone, but I still wanted to test this out. It's very easy to get the contract here. You just have to be buffed and use an ability a few times, and then you get to the Annihilate ability pretty fast. You get to the contract pretty fast. So here you see I've annihilated Jolie, and now just going after Revan. And even though it's a three-star Gear 11 Mando, I'm still able to do a pretty decent job in surviving and getting it done. It's good that Boss gives some amount of meat shielding. So there's the Savior ability triggered. If you remember, Savior wasn't triggered when I used my Annihilate ability on Jolie initially, which means that this Disintegrate ability, it prevents even Savior from triggering. It's just like an Annihilate ability, basically. It's a destroy effect, very similar to what Nihilus has. All right, so here you can see my opponent has also started going, and he's one-shot my front wall. At this stage, there's only 1 hour left in the battle, in the attack stage, so I'm getting a little nervous because he's doing really great on efficiency. So I decided to finish up the ships and then be done with it, see how many what score I get. I'd get my Negotiator on defense, so I took my Grievous over here against the ship battle. It's nothing much. Grievous is a hard counter to both Negotiator fleets as well as Admiral Akbar Rebel fleets. So this battle was not much of an issue. I'm just going to be speeding it up a little bit. You just get bigs down as soon as you can. Use as much of buzz droids as you can, and then get bigs down, get Biston down, and here maybe I should have gotten someone who maybe I should have called in an assist or a reinforcement, but I didn't do that. I thought I wanted to save that in, but ultimately I think I should have just called someone in and finished off Han's Millennium Falcon once and for all. But ended up losing Sunfac over here, but then ended up cleaning up for 60 banners. So that's and then my opponent went started going over there, so I decided to just wait it out to see what the final result was. So my opponent did the top zone. They did one shot everything, like I showed a little while ago, including my Darth Revan team, which I was quite impressed with. So they must have taken that gas there. Two battles against Negotiator, which was good to see. So I'm glad I put the Negotiator out there. Since I had dropped a couple of battles as well, I was hoping that they would drop some battles down south. And luckily they did, both against my Finn team as well as against my sister team. Later on, Vin reached out to me and said that he had underestimated both those teams. So that was good to see. So end result 1709 to 1678. I won by about 20 30 banners, 30 to 40 banners, I think. Yeah, not a very efficient match because neither of us could clear the GLs. I really need to do a better job of getting to clear Rays, especially. But kudos to my opponent. Really tough defense, especially with Darth Revan and JKR in there. Really made me think. So really enjoyed this battle. My opponent Vin did reach out to me later, and we chatted a bit. And really nice guy. I think he watches my videos as well. He did tell me to give a shout out to his guildmate Nuke, who for whom he had kept a Lobot, a Gear 11 Lobot at the back wall behind Ray. So if I had cleared the Ray, I would have had to face a G11 Lobot, which would have been interesting to see. Anyway, that's the end of the second match. Join me for the finals where we'll be facing a really good opponent with an Ultimate Ray again. So you guys will get to see me cap the season off with fighting another Ultimate Ray. Until then, I'll catch you guys in a couple of days. Take care and happy gaming.